You'd have.
That'll take
Seems
sure.
like if you keep the air conditioner way colder than you should and keep the door, all the flip doors open on the side of the laptop and keep
Hoping
the
we'd be in there by
hard drive as
I don't
old
really
as
care
possible.
now.
Yeah, its connection.
I don't even
Yeah,
care.
I'm glad you do.
But you're sitting in there
I
going,
say I
Yeah,
don't
sure,
even
and they're
care
getting
now, as
frostbite.
long as it's done. 'Cause what difference does it make if
I
it's
think we're all right
Christmas,
with that.
winter, as long as it's done by next spring?
Okay. What's spring? So-
Because that'll be
I don't really want to mess with anything.
another year that I'm not going to have
we're fine with
the
that.
summer thing.
We're good with that.
No, yeah. Well, I still have another year to go.
No, you don't.
I do. So, do I not have another year to go?
Two,
Like this year and one more year, right?
26.
Because in that thing it said that they were doing it for the mayor and council, or yeah, mayor and council.
No, that's just, I mean, if spots were available, it would be mayor and council.
Okay, because I was like, I thought I had 2 more to go.
Am I done this year?
Or several.
Yes.
You're not rerunning?
Huh?
See,
You're not
you,
gonna run again?
yes, you
Don't
are.
hit me.
Yes, you
Anybody want
are.
zucchini?
Abuse.
Oh, I'll have one.
I'm taking abuse. You what?
I was well, holy shit, holy
What are you
goodness.
gonna do with that?
No, I
thing?
just want a little one.
Here, take this.
It's zucchini, there
Hey,
is no such thing
I
as
need one of
little
these so I can hit a few people in my company.
Oh, the company.
Yeah.
That's starting to move back.
No,
Are most
well,
of
you know
people?
what? I want this one.
What are
Sorry.
you two holding hands coming in for? Check their purses. Check their water bottles. Check their purses.
There goes my pastor.
Hey, you do that in record timing, I tell you.
Summertime.
Put your clothes out like the day before you leave for work?
No.
Doesn't take much to throw on a pair of shorts and a shirt.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what am
Oh,
I going
thank
to
you.
wear
I just
today? But then
harvested
as you look,
some.
I did a really good job of picking it up
I
today.
appreciate that.
I don't have that many clothes to pick from.
So how much of the?
I don't need it. I got 2 shirts, 1 pair of pants. That's plenty enough.
You don't have to read
Good. I've already read it 3 or 4 times.
Have you?
Last time I read it to him. And
Yeah.
You know what? I was at the county fair on Friday, and the first day we didn't have, like, any bug spray, and they were bad that day. And the second day we had bug spray, and this is Tam for you. She must have did this and missed half my leg, because one leg is fine and the other leg has like a band all the way around my ankle, like about this, that, a bug bite,
Huh.
all the way around there. Like, holy jeepers.
Best find someone better to do
I
that.
know, I know. You gotta be careful about the company you keep, I'm telling you.
You know.
Ooh, we only have 1 minute.
No, did not want.
Start rolling back. You don't give me much time to get
I know, it's
I
like she
just
calls
did
me
this
in order
at
to
the
pledge
hospital,
allegiance to
checking my
Apple.
emails, and I
Yeah,
had
you're
none.
gonna-
Now I have 12.
Pam, you're going to open up the you'll open up the public hearing too. Right?
Oh, that's public hearing?
I just kinda like that usually.
Don't I have to close the regular meeting and then open up the public
You have to
meeting?
close the regular one, you're just opening the public hearing.
Oh, well, alrighty
It's
then.
within, and it's ready.
And it's
Okay.
6:30.
Man, it's
We
6:30.
are ready.
Are we on? Ready to
Yep.
rolling?
We're
Both of
rolling.
them even.
What's that?
Okay, we will call to, as soon as I get done doing my thing, we'll call to order the regular city council meeting for Monday, July 22nd. Start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What's that?
Where's Seth?
He's not here.
I see that.
So is there any corrections to the agenda?
Yes, there is, Mayor. I'm going to add 3 things. A couple of them pretty quick, but there's 3 things. We are going to add an 8A, conflict of interest for small cities development program. It's S, small cities development program. That's right.
Sorry.
Program. We have our new employee actually had applied for that for one of the commercials. commercial projects, so we have to add his conflict of interest form on there. There's no vote, there's nothing else, it's just that we have to acknowledge that he is an employee and that he applied for one of the, and we'll do that at 8A, that he applied for one of those grants. So I'll talk
Okay.
about that a little bit. And then also under 10, new business, yeah, city administrator, there's a couple of resolutions that we will be putting in there. One of them is the approval of the Tracy Boxcar Day city licenses and street closures, and then also just a little bit of a plan that I plan on going over with you, and we need a resolution for and a vote for the ARPA monies that need to be used up by the end of this year.
Okay.
Motion to approve is amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we would like to open up the public hearing for the second reading of the ordinance 389, the reduction of the clear water in the sanitary sewer system.
You've opened that up. I'd like to talk about it a little bit, Mayor. There's some more new things that are coming as we go along. Like I said before, there's a lot of cities that are going with this this type of ordinance with their sewer systems, with the shape that the shells that are going from the street up to the houses are not in very good shape in a lot of areas. So we filmed a lot of them here in Tracy. But one of the things that this ordinance is about is when you sell your house, you have to make sure that it is filmed, the sewage line from the house to the street, and to see what kind of shape it is in, to make sure that it's PVC pipe. If it is in tough shape, you have to replace it before you can sell the house. So that is what the ordinance is basically saying. There are new things. One of the items that I think it was Jan that brought it up 2 weeks ago and asked if I would look into the possibility of if you could put that onto your taxes over a 10-year span. That makes sense. They are going to be doing a little bit of that in a couple other towns. They're talking to their respective counties. A little bit of the issue with that, though, is if you've sold the house already, so it depends on what the purchase agreement says on who's paying for that new sewer line that's going to go from the house to the street itself. So it makes sense to a certain extent, but in my experience with it, it is the person who's selling the house's responsibility that it gets done. But then if it doesn't get paid for, or if it doesn't get done, that's another issue that we have to address, and that we're going to have.
We wouldn't have collateral anymore.
Well, there's no reasoning. You know, why would I stick around and pay taxes on something that I don't own anymore? Plus, I've already got my money for it. So it's something that there might be an amendment by the end of the year, but amendment. My recommendation would be still to go through with the new ordinance, as we have to do something, because I did see one of those films just a little while ago, and it's not a pretty sight anyway, for the fact that what you're filming, but they're horrible. I mean, every 6-foot piece of every little where it's supposed to have a nice little ring around it, where it's supposed to be holding it together. There's weeds growing in, there's tree roots growing in. It's necessary.
So the homeowner that's selling the home, they got to go all the way into the street to make that repair?
Into the street or the boulevard, depending on how far where the PVC pipe, especially with new construction or the new in the new streets that we put in, depending on how far they went in.
Those would be okay, but I'm looking at older
Yep.
properties.
Yep.
So then we're going to have our streets all cut up and tore up.
Right. Well, there is a little bit of an issue with that too. Yes.
Will the recorder's office record it if it's not signed off that it's been replaced?
Well, that's where if it's put into the purchase agreement correctly, it is enforceable. But who's enforcing it then?
With this lining like we had done, would that work?
Shane is actually going to be looking into that, but when we did a little bit of that lining before we did it at the swimming pool, it was very expensive. So whether we could bring somebody in that would do 20 houses at a time or something like that, I don't know. There's also there's some houses that people are just not going to want to replace it before they do actually sell their house too. And we can't, in this ordinance, we can't make them do that.
Well, we can't hardly make an ordinance to make them anyway, can we?
Well, we can put it out there before they can sell the house, yes. So this is just a start is what it is.
Is there an age of the house?
On another ordinance that I seen in another town, it was, you had to film it no matter what, but it, does 1989, does that sound correct, Shane? Where anything before that or anything after that would have been PVC?
There's stuff in the early 80s that's PVC.
Okay.
Even in the late 70s. I think it was first introduced like in the late 60s, but you don't see much of it till
Right.
the late 70s here. Anyway.
So it's something we'll have to follow up on, and this is the first step. So we have the public hearing open, so you can ask if there's anybody that wants to.
Well, is there anybody in the audience that would like to talk about something that is about this little ordinance? Gosh, I don't see any.
I have a question. What you were looking at, was that my sewer line?
No,
Oh, because you were going to get that ready for
No.
me. Okay.
it was not.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I was just curious, is there anything in it, like if a person's had work done in the past and they can like go to their plumber and have record of this being done? Is there something about that where then they wouldn't have to scope it out?
You're going to want to keep that as being a homeowner that had that done. Yes, you're going to want to keep proof of that job was done.
And then you wouldn't have to do the camera?
Exactly.
As long as you have it available.
Yep.
Okay.
My house was moved in 2016, so I know it's PVC. But I go to the plumber and say, prove it.
Just prove it. And that would be a written statement, that type of thing. Yeah, we're not looking at costing anybody any more money than they have to, but we know what the problem that we have with our system, so, and we can't overflow it or make it work any harder than it already is. So this is just a first step, and like we had talked about in previous meetings, this isn't just a city ordinance. There are things out there from the state now too that are coming into existence here.
So when you said that it doesn't like make our system work any harder than it does, how do some of these pipes make it work harder?
Because the water is any kind of runoff or from the sump pumps are running into the cracks of the sewer system, which puts it there as opposed to where it's supposed to go.
And like if you have a clay pipe that's got a crack in it, when it rains, the rainwater seeps in through that and just adds.
But then
To the
it
sewer
seeps
system.
into the ground though,
To
doesn't
the
it?
sanitary sewer system.
But it's seeping into the pipes eventually too, and then
Through the
it
ground.
And then it
increases our.
keeps running.
Okay.
You got that, Mayor?
Yeah, you would think that some of the pipes would be, are some of them collapsed and stuff like that you see in those?
Shane can answer that a little bit more. I think there's probably a couple of them that are collapsed. The ones that we were looking at a little bit earlier, how old do you suppose that clay pipe was?
Probably 1920s.
So 100 years old. And remarkably in great shape for 100 years old.
Wow.
But it's still, you can tell where they put the pipe together because there wasn't one large, but where there could have been the cracks too. You know, where they 6-foot pieces that got put together.
That age,
2 foot.
some of the newer stuff 6 foot, but most of that older stuff was just 2-foot sections.
2-foot section, so every section when the camera went through, you could see where the tree roots are growing into it.
And those are just butted together and usually just mortared on the joints, where the newer clay pipe, from the 50s and 60s, a lot of that, not all of it, a lot of it had rubber gaskets in between the joints. It was a little bit better, but yeah, it's good pipe if you keep the trees out of it, but
Keep the trees out.
as long as it was installed correctly, but a lot of it's failing now, so.
Okay, well, we can close the public hearing. Can we, unless anybody else wants to say anything about it? No? Well, then we'll close the public hearing. open back up our regular meeting,
Okay,
and we will move on.
so we need to vote on that.
We're referring it back to the council in case they have any questions. Want to make a motion?
Does anybody else have any questions on that?
Nope, clear as mud.
Okay. You're so funny.
And it was ordinance
All right.
389.
So I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 389, the reduction of clear water in the sanitary sewer system.
I'll second.
First and second, for roll call, please.
Arvisu,
Yes.
Heinrichs,
Yes.
Landine,
Aye.
Teagues,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Corn.
Aye. Okay, is there anybody else on there that would like to talk about something that is not on the agenda? Oh, okay, we'll move on to consent calendar.
Make a motion to approve the July 7th council minutes, approve municipal accounts payable and payroll without breakthrough beverage, approve municipal accounts receivable, approve the June 12th park board minutes.
Second.
Does anybody have any further discussion before we do roll call? Okay, roll call, please.
Heinrichs,
Aye.
Landine,
Aye.
Teagues,
Aye.
Arvisu,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Corn.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable for breakthrough beverage.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Landine,
Aye.
Arvisu,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Heinrichs,
Aye.
Mayor Corman.
Aye. Do you want to talk about Lonnie's thing here?
Yeah, I'll move on to 8A. Conflict of interest, it would be, again, the same thing that we've talked about 4 times. I apologize that it's come up this much, but this is a new employee that has applied for a commercial grant for a business that he owns here in town, and that we just had to have him fill out the conflict of interest form, just like we had everyone else fill out. And then we have to send in that to the UCAP that we had actually talked about it at a meeting with the signed minutes. So this would be Lonnie Cochran is the new employee, and so we had him fill out the conflict of interest form. So that's all done already, and we will send that in. So that's
Okay.
all we need. There's no vote, nothing on that.
We will move on to department heads. Tamara, do you want to go?
Favoritism?
Always
got
pick her
paid.
first.
Hey, I did it as
I
a
want
order
to
of
say that we had an exciting month in June.
best month that we've ever had in the history of the liquor store, I'm sure. But next month we'll probably have one of the worst.
I'll be
So-
optimistic.
I know, right? Well, so sales were about 90, almost 92,000, which was great. Our inventory expenses, though, said they were only 18,000, which is unrealistic. It happened to be evidently how they paid the bills, kind of a thing. So our net cash flow was 60,000 this month. So next month, though, it's not going to look so pretty. Going to come back to go with the rest of them. Anyways, want to tell, we had Aloha night. Probably 40, 45 people, I'm thinking. You think about that? Close to that. So I want to thank everybody who came out and joined us for that. And again, definitely thank all of our sponsors. We were a little disappointed that we were hoping there would have been more people there to help support us and to support the organization that we were supporting. But again, I want to thank the people and the sponsors again for doing that. Let's see what else is up. Thursday, I get the privilege to go speak to Kiwanis about the liquor store operation, so I have to write up a little report for that one. And I don't know if there's really that much else going on this month. Anybody have any other questions? We good? No,
Nice job.
thank you. Val, do you want to go?
Oh, and you know what? Oh, you didn't bring it. Oh, I'll wait till you're done bringing that up. Perfect.
Perfect.
Oh, you just were going to say something about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We finally came to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part. So I don't have a whole lot, or I don't really have anything to add to my regular report. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. What I do want to talk about is the council communication and the project proposal that I left for you about the liquor store mural. Sammy Jo Miller, who we've been working with, she's worked really hard. I just want to say that she has done a lot of groundwork to get this done, worked with the public, worked with us, and we came up with a design that I sent it to Tam and sent it to Jeff, and this was the one that we all liked the best. So we're bringing this to you tonight. Technically, you don't need to, I don't believe, make a motion or anything because you've already done a resolution approving it, but I just wanted to get either the thumbs up or thumbs down to go for it, and we'll get it done in August if that's good with all of you.
Not just because we need to move along fast, but because we got to get it going. But the fact is we want everybody's opinion of it, but we are going with this. So.
And it'll fit like right between those two windows almost perfectly, won't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure what, she'll have to measure, and, the width may be adjusted based on, the space. Once, like at the library, we found out that the windows are not equally spaced, and so, you have to make some adjustments when you do things once you're up on the building. But, she's a pro, she'll roll with it, and...
So do you guys like that one?
Yep.
I do like it. Is it going to be like this, or is it going to be like this?
Well,
we don't know
Yeah,
that.
that's one thing. I asked if we could widen it.
Yeah, I
would
mentioned
rather
that
have
to
a-
her also. I think it'll just depend on
Where it fits.
where it fits. Yeah, just depend on the space, whether it goes between the windows or on the side of either one of that, either way.
But I still would like to see it a little wider.
Yeah, otherwise it's a little too narrow.
Yep, it'll be on the east wall.
Perfect.
So, yeah. Any other questions for me?
No,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Great job.
And thank you for doing all the work I told you the other day for doing the grants and everything.
Oh, thank you.
Chief, you want to go?
Holy moly.
I thought I got to pick.
What's that?
You're taking too
What,
a long day.
Did you get bribe money? I know. Is there?
I don't have anything other than what's in my report, just to mention that National Night Out is coming up August 6th, and we hope to see everybody out in Central Park for National Night Out.
Either.
So, should be a good event again. Hopefully the weather holds.
Okay, anybody got any questions for?
Thanks for contacting Adam to get those things up, and he must have come up here when I was in our webinars this afternoon, so thank you.
When is the night out?
August 6th. Yep.
Is that 2 weeks from tomorrow night, right?
Yes. First Tuesday in August.
Oh, looks good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Tyler.
Tyler, please do.
All right. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I guess one thing you might have noticed that the income from utilities was pretty low. And I was looking back at history, and it just seems like once or twice a year there's just an oddly low month. And I kind of chalked it up to possibly all the rain that we've gotten, people just using less, or maybe they were traveling more on the weekends. I don't know, but I found it kind of odd. And a ton of income from camping, liquor store did great, and licensing, we've been having a good year. Any questions?
Keep it that way.
Yeah.
I think while we have Tyler up there, I'd like to talk a little bit about the budget schedule. We worked on it some today. We will work on it more this week. You will have that by the 5th, which would be a week before, for sure, that we have the budget meeting, possibly even the 2nd, which would be that Friday. So you'd have it over the weekend. We're looking at the 12th of, which is the first council meeting in August. What we had planned on is having the budget part of the meeting at 5 o'clock. And I think we'd all agreed to that, correct?
5 o'clock?
Yep, 5 o'clock on the 12th, yes. And we'll just have it all right here.
But it won't be televised, the budget part?
Well, it really, it can be a part of the meeting. It really doesn't have to be, though, so.
No, it doesn't.
Usually
I'm
we
just
don't
asking,
televise.
should it be?
So we'll go from 5 to 6:30 and then start the regular meeting at 6:30 then. I did hear from, well, that's something else. Anything you want to add with the budget part of it?
No, we've got pretty much all the numbers in. I mean, you'll find out more in our presentation in August, but I guess the gist of it is a lot needs to get done in the city, and right now we're budgeting a slight deficit. But we had a good year last year where we made $200,000. Our net position went up $200,000, and so our thought is that we could use some of that for all these projects coming down the pipe. But you guys will get a better idea of that once you get the budget in your hands, and then we can talk about it in mid-August.
It's always a hope, but we're hoping that the net position from 22 to 23 matches itself from 23 to 24, which would be nice. So that's what we're hoping for, because we could definitely use the money. That's why you're going to see not really a shell game, but just moving things around, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that from me a little bit later too. But we are working on it to get all the numbers in, trying to figure out whether I've forgotten to tell him something or he's forgotten to put something in. That's what we're working on. We got through the revenues today, and we'll start working on some other things, the CIP and other things then. But we'll discuss a lot from 5 to 6:30. But I thought if we had a meeting at 5 o'clock and went to 6:30, then we've got that's what we have. We have an hour and a half.
I also wanted to mention Krista Vandendriessy, my employee, got Employee of the Year. Not all of you were at the employee picnic, so that was exciting. She had to take her son to baseball practice, and then everyone kind of wandered off while she was gone, and then she got back, and I was like, "Hey, you missed it. You got Employee of the Year." She's like, "Oh, yeah, right." And I'm like, "No, really, you did." She's like, "Really?"
We're just glad she came back.
So she was glad. She was happy. But thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.
All right, Shane.
I'm in.
See you, Val. See you, Tyler.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to add to my report. I am working on, I think I just about got the seal coating and crack sealing project for this year nailed down. Sounds like we might be the Monday, Tuesday of Labor Day week, which is a little too close to Labor Day for me, but that's the only time they can get it done. We'll make it work. So it's not a big project. It's basically phase 1. We're going to put another coat on Greenwood Avenue. Thought about Front Street, but with the construction going on there, I'm just going to wait till next year's seal coating for that, and we can go over the patches and stuff for the sewer and water that they'll have to do there. And then I think North Street and Sunrise that were overlaid in the last couple of years are on that list too. So
Orchard Lanes too.
and Orchard Lane, yep.
Which came in less than what it was.
That was like $1,400 for that, based on some of the current costs we have. So
How many blocks are you planning?
it's about 28. So it's a good size project. What we could do with 70,000 anyway. So any questions? Pool's going.
New meter reader that was broke.
We got that back. We got 5 of the property maintenance code complied with of the 54 we sent out. So it's better than past years for that. So hopefully we keep seeing progress on that. There's a few that are still working on them, but just not quite done yet, so. We'll say it's a little more progress than we've had seen, so. Other than that, we've just been mowing and mowing and mowing and mowing. We're still not caught up, but now with the rain has let off a little bit, I'd say by the end of the week we'll be looking all right. So we're got a water main to work on in Greenwood Avenue. Next week, hopefully if the weather cooperates, we've got a valve that's leaking there. So there's a few other things, some curb stops to put in, and a few other things we'd like to take care of before winter, but we'll see how things go. But fixed the catch basin last week over on Roland and 9th. It's been getting larger. A hole in the road kept getting larger here over the summer, so that's wrapped up. Hoping to see some pothole repairs today, but they never made her to town today, so hopefully this week we'll see some patching done there. So
Did you get the water issues solved from the mobile home park?
it's still leaking.
Health and Human Services is heading up that right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So they are on it, and they've given us a report. Wasn't last week, the week before that, they gave us a report on what's going to happen out there with a couple things. But the water, the water was a part of the issue.
Yeah, there's five or six leaks out there. Not gushers, but they're wet spots. So.
When does the airport hangars start? The new one?
We're hoping to see approval in the next couple weeks from the feds. The state grant is upcoming in the agenda tonight, but the feds, and that's going to have to be something that the feds are going to want to see before they do their approval, is see that the state grant and everything's there for that before they give the
Is there
final
gonna be
nod.
any dirt moved?
I would hope so.
Is there gonna
Actually,
be
I hope to
extra?
see the slab done and hopefully the building up before winter, but it just depends on how long things take and when the approval occurs, so.
Will there be any extra excavation, you think, leftovers? Dirt?
There isn't a lot of excavation to be done, but there could be. It's pretty low ground.
Already. I'll just have you stay up there when I talk about mine a little bit. Just one of the things that I want to bring up, and you've got it in front of you also, all of you, where I was talking about the not a shell game, but just moving things around according to the budget this year. We did a report on the swimming pool. So you've got it right in front of you, and one of the things that I want you to take a look at is the fifth one down, I believe it is. Utility services. Last year we were adding cold water basically to the pool all the time, so the utility services were, we spent that all of $25,000. And then operating supplies, I don't know how many more operating supplies that we're going to need out there.
That should be the last load. I think chemicals would mainly come out of there.
Yep. So
last load will be this week.
We could possibly save a couple thousand with operating supplies, a few thousand with repair and maintenance supplies. Utility service, we're hoping for 4,000 or 5,000. So this will be the time that we had more things that were needed to be fixed out there, along with the 2 slides that we're doing, and we're not doing the steps and everything to going up to it. So we've got that money that isn't going to be spent this year. So we're looking at taking that into consideration with this, and then going ahead and getting the two, what's the snake, I'll call it. Snake that are now, all we're doing is putting epoxy and everything else, trying to shore the things up so they don't sink. So, and those are popular items. So we're trying to get a few of the things done out there that we're going to have to do, and we would have to do in 25 regardless. We might be able to do them in 24, just with a little bit of a budget amendment. So just a few of those things. I don't think I'll bring those to you. I just wanted to show you this report here. You'll also get a report probably by the first part of October, at the end of September, and it'll show you, I think it'll really show how well we did at the, controlling expenses out there. And it wasn't anything that we did ourselves. It was the fact that we weren't losing 100,000 gallons of water a day and having to heat that water and having to chemical that water and everything else. So, any questions on that before we move on?
Are the slides done this fall?
Yep, that's,
And that's already,
contracts all signed.
Yep.
Council approved that, I think, a meeting or two ago. They're planning to come late August, early September. So.
Was it 73 out of, we had planned for 106,000?
Mm-hmm.
73,000. So we'll have 33,000 sitting there too. So just getting a couple things taken care of before we get into, 25 is a pretty tough year. You'll see that here when we go through the budget in a couple weeks. Okay, yeah, you might as well just stay there, Shane, because that first one I'm going to have you be a part of it anyway. Just with the budgeting process, we kind of already went over it, but if that's acceptable to everybody, we'll have that go out in your agenda and your packets for that Monday the 12th, just to be here at 5 o'clock so we can get it going, and it'll be a hard copy handout, plus it'll be on the TV, but you'll have it all ahead of time. And there's going to be some changes that are going to go along with that too, but we'll be able to put we're not ready for the initial one, but at least you'll be able to see it to give us a little bit of direction. You're going to have some things that you're going to be able to see, look at and say, this is how we want it done. Okay? Let's move on to, Mayor, if we could, to new business, City Administrator Resolution 2024-70, authorization to execute Minnesota Department of Transportation grant agreement for airport improvements excluding land acquisition. This would be the state grant that we applied for before we can go to the federal grant, right? This would be the state and the local part of it is right here. So we got to get okay for this resolution just to move on and get this sent in to Gloria, I think is her name.
Yep, this is one of 5 pieces of the grant for the hangar project.
It's overwhelming. I'm thankful that I've got Shane to at least ground me on it, because I get something by email and I'm reading it and I'm going, okay, I don't understand it. And then that's when I've got, that's where Angela's been a big help with that. Chris has been a big help with that. If not, I bring it over to Shane, and because then some random architect or a random engineer will send me a note saying, Jeff, you got to do this right away. I'm going. So
It's on the spreadsheet.
it's on the the spreadsheet. Yeah.
You need a magnifying glass to see.
Yeah. So if we could get that taken care of.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-70, authorization to execute the Minnesota Department of Transportation grant agreement for the airport improve excluding land acquisition.
Second.
Does anybody have any other questions about that? All right, roll call, please.
Landite.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Hendricks.
Aye.
Arvisu.
Yes.
Tiggs.
aye.
Mayor Corman.
Aye.
All right, number 2 there, Resolution 2024-71, approval of Tracy Boxcar Day city licenses and street closures. So this is, I don't know if it's a couple weeks early on this, but we are already adding a couple things, so we can get her that done right away too.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-71.
Roll call, please.
Tiggs.
Aye.
Arvisu.
Yes.
Hendricks.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Landite.
Aye.
Mayor Corman.
Aye.
All right, here is our moving things around a little bit. Resolution 2024-72, approval of city to use ARPA funds to buy needed city road machine. So we have what you have in front of you is a quote from John Deere for the machine that's going to be on the CIP for 2025. So we have to get this money from ARPA used, and we got to get it used by, I don't want to mess around with it and then all of a sudden, all the way through October, November. So we want to get it taken care of right now. I'm looking for your approval on that. So the number on there, I believe, was $135,000.
Yep.
We have $180,000 in that account at the county. Well, there's $200,000 in it right now. But if you remember, it was $20,000 we had put aside for the water to the museum. That's $30,000 for the income survey that we're getting taken care of. So we can apply for the infrastructure grant for 2025 right away, which would be $600,000 in infrastructure, which we would use for roads and water, sewer, whatever kind of infrastructure we can use. And then we also had the $6,000 that we were using for the Front Street Minnesota Energy putting fuel lines out to the end of the street out there where those new houses are going to be going. So all of that comes out to pretty close to that $200,000. So I have to have not tomorrow, but 2 weeks from tomorrow, I have to have the list of everything that we're going to be using that money, and we'll be putting a presentation on to the county with what we're going to be using that money. I did finally, last Friday, got it approved through the county for every one of the units that we're going to be using it on, or each one of the projects. So the county approved it with two of the city or the county commissioners plus the city or the county administrator, but now we have to take it to the full county board. But it's just a formality that if that's what we want to use it for, that's what we use it for. We just got to get it. We got to get it gone, and we need the machine. The machine that Shane is going to be replacing out there. We bonded for that current machine that we're using right now in 1977.
So we're getting a tractor backhoe? I mean,
What does it all have, Shane?
if I'm reading this right, it's a tractor backhoe. And the machine you're getting rid of is the old Terex loader.
Yep.
So you're not getting rid of, getting rid of a big loader for a small loader.
Yeah, so basically we use it to load salt, which is a little big to load salt. So we would use it for that. Now that the other loader is out with the blower, we used to have two loaders. The Terex always ran the blower, and then the other payloader was available to do loading trucks or whatever. Well, we had to go to a bigger loader to handle the blower, and then we ran into an issue with bucket sizes being too wide for loading the salt truck. So we use the Terex, a little smaller bucket, or the tractor, but if you use the blower on the tractor, then you don't have the bucket on that either. So you got to be it's more convenient to load with a smaller machine, and that would be available for that, and then pushing the snowfield up when the loader's out loading trucks, to make room there. And then we'd use it for general purpose, whether it be for curb stops or sewer repair, water main repair, or it's a little bigger to be able to handle that stuff too. So it's kind of a multi-purpose machine, turning into something that just sits for probably 11 months out of the year is what Terek's doing now, just something we can use year round. So.
And you think it's good money spent to buy a new one for this?
Well, if you've looked at the price they used, there ain't a lot difference in there, and then you worry about how they're used. A lot of them, you hit 2,000 hours, the pins are all have to be redone, and you're still looking at $90,000 for a used machine. So it's kind of one of those, what end do you want to pay it on, the repairs end or the initial purchase? So.
Did you get quotes from anyplace else besides just John Deere?
So John Deere, RDO, it's through the state bid process. So, nice part about John Deere is you can get parts at C&B locally instead of running to Marshall, whether it be CAT or Case or anything like that. But, if that's something this council wants to do, we can. We just have to hire service to come in from another town to work on them. So.
You said this was part of our plan for 2025 and 25, the CIP plan for 2025. So that will free up, I believe it was 140,000 is what we put into it for then. So then you'll see on the 12th, well, before that, when we get the information to you, what we, our suggestion on what we use that money for 2025.
This was not the money, though, that we were going to use for the SCADA system.
No, it is not.
That is-
Good question. Very good question. No, that money there, remember, well, you might not remember, but we had that 400,000 that we had to use. We weren't given any kind of date on when we were supposed to use it. We just kept getting pressure on it. So what we did is we went ahead and paid back a couple of our loans, or not, our payments for USDA, and then also we're paying the August interest payment on there, which came out to right around that $400,000. So it kind of evened itself out. So basically, we paid ourselves off so we can keep the money, and then we can take our time to figure out what we want to do with that money.
So that money is still
Sitting there.
sitting over here for the SCADA
It's actually
system.
sitting there in the 3M. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, 3M through the League of Minnesota Cities, through the state. So, yeah. So yes, that is there. So we're still waiting for that.
Remind me again, what is the holdup with this whole SCADA thing?
Well, we needed to be able to pay for it, the whole thing, and she's going to be able to talk to it a lot better. From what I understand of it, we want to replace the whole thing all at once as opposed to piece by piece. Because right now we're piecemealing it together, so nobody wants to take any responsibility for their piece. It's because of them, and who's to blame for something not working.
But
So-
what do we have to have besides the 400,000 to be able
We've
to
been
do
waiting
this
for
SCADA?
Bollig to come back to see if there's any more money that they can find for us. Because remember, they're doing theirs. I can bring that up along with it. Looks like Thursday, the 29th, is when they'd like to come and do their full report to you. I know it's Thursday of Boxcar Days, but it would be, we could figure that out. I'll send out a survey to see when we want to do that, but they would have it done by that week, their whole presentation. But we've been waiting for them to see, can they find some kind of infrastructure grant that might help out with that a little bit? Because right now, it's our $400,000. So we're hoping they can find a little bit more money for us someplace.
The intent was with the SCADA being, for a funding agency, SCADA's, that it's super small project, and a lot of them won't look at it because it's super small. But if you tie it into, whether it be a water tower rehab or a street project where you already have funds from different agencies involved, then it's easier just to add this to it. And they kind of realize that, things are failing. That,
I was going to say, how long can we?
I know I'm running into a fight with well 7 right now. We had to replace the meter. Well, it's trying to tie new technology into old technology. It still can be done, but I'm on the phone with the field tech for the meter company, and they're blaming the SCADA, the current SCADA that was put in 15 years ago, or retrofitted 15 years ago. And he's blaming it on, well, the meter's not putting out the right signal. And now I've spent probably 7 or 8 hours on the phone with 2 different field techs.
That's why I was just wondering, how long can we as a city
Right.
put this off? I understand why we are trying to put it off to get some financing
Yep.
from somewhere
Yep.
else versus using our own money, but there comes a point where
The days are getting numbered right now.
Well, if their report is going to be ready by the 29th, do they not have all of the information already?
They're
Gathered
pretty
yet?
close to that information. He couldn't give me the exact date, but he knew by that Thursday that they would be done. I just talked to him today. Yeah, and what they're looking at doing, and what Shane and I have talked about is we have that $400,000 sitting there. So if we all of a sudden have an $800,000 project and can lump it into one, and we can get the other $400,000 and use ours as a match. We're kind of doubling down on the money that we have instead of just throwing that money towards one project and us paying for it. Let's see what we can get done with that money as a possible match too.
And is this something that's dependent on the weather when it can be done? Like if we don't do it here before winter, then all of a
Not
sudden.
necessarily, in fact. Well, the only thing that would be a little difficult is getting the antennas on the water tower, which I've been up there in the wintertime. It's not awful, but you don't want to be up there if you don't have to be.
Oh, no.
But that's something, where they can start building the system. Because I'd imagine you're at least 3 to 4 months out just building the system. Because they'll build most of the cabinet off-site. They'll bring it in and then start tying all the wires to wherever they go together. So that part there, they'd actually prefer, because they'd have to shut the water plant down for probably at least 24 hours. So there's going to be a period in there where they're not going to want the high demand. So wintertime's better, because people aren't watering, they're not, doing all that stuff. So there's a benefit for wintertime there, but just anything that's exterior is not going to be much fun, but we'll get through it. I mean, we've had to work on it in the winter before. It's just basically antennas, so it's not huge equipment by any means.
So we're hoping all of that'll come together over the next month and a half, but kind of want to get back on track with the resolution. So I don't think we ever got an approval for the resolution, did we?
No.
No. So any questions on the ARPA money? I mean, we got to get it taken care of. We got to get it out of their hands. They've agreed initially to that. They said it's just a formality. I'll put together something and I'll bring it to them in 2 weeks from tomorrow, and then all we got to do is hand in our bills to them. So which we have this one here already. In fact, whenever you're ready to go pick that up, I think you're fine.
I understand where we need to get this money used, but buying a brand new backhoe, I don't know that I think that's the best use of our money, but I don't know what else to use it on. Because we just went out and bought a really good backhoe for $50,000. And that leaves a fair amount of money extra that we could have for ourselves, because I don't believe it's gonna run every day.
And
And then I
Depends on what
question
goes
whether
on.
a rubber tile backhoe is gonna work very good for digging up whatever it is you wanna dig up, because you need the full swing of a mini excavator. So would it
Problem
make
is that-
sense to buy a used backhoe and a mini excavator so we could do both?
the problem is, to do what we're doing in the depth, we need at least a 50 or 60 series excavator. The mini doesn't, for a little sewer, we can't even get through tree roots half the time with it.
Well,
So then you're looking at, okay, we're not going to track this thing around town. Okay, now we're going to buy a trailer, a truck, and all that to move it around.
they come on rubber tracks.
Yeah, but they go about 2 miles an hour. You're going to spend someone's half a day to get across town if it's, depending where it's at. So, you look at it that way, and then its only use is to dig a hole in the ground.
I'm not arguing that, I'm just saying let's do both. Get a used backhoe that you're only gonna use part-time, which would do a fine job, and then get an excavator so you'd have that part-time. And I think they travel a little faster, I've been in them, but I guess.
I said I drove one, I was going to drive it to Greenwood from Dale's shop, and I ended up getting a trailer at his storage unit and driving it the rest of the way because I couldn't take it anymore. So that was a 10-minute drive from his building and that's for a mini, but the bigger ones might move faster. But it's just they're handy once you get them to where they need to be, but it's definitely not something I want to track around town. And pavement's hard on them too, but depending on the season. But I'm open to suggestions. Something if you want me to look into it, I can do that too. So.
See, the resolution just doesn't have to exactly cover the street machine. It's whatever we need for the street machine. It's using the money more on that I wanted to put in front of you.
I guess I don't really care to bring this up like it is. I wish we could have had a chance to have a conversation about it ahead of time, but
I'm here for discussion. So.
So this resolution is just to the funds. It's not like he couldn't check into something.
We have city
Right.
road machine is what I put on there, but
But then will it come back to the council? Because we're more or less saying, spend it on
that.
yeah.
or we could
I mean-
table number 3 too for 2 weeks.
Well, I don't want to jeopardize the money.
You're not going to jeopardize the money. We have until, I just don't want to wait until October and November and then we're scrambling.
Yeah.
I want to get it taken care of, and it's something that we know we need. Is that something you can,
Well, if you want to look at used, then, you know, as long as we have a excavator we could rent in town, we could do a used rubber tire, and that'll get most of our stuff done. For the little stuff, we could rent one, but, and then, you know, do we want to look at maybe replacing the 76 Dodge or something else?
Well, now you're.
But right now, I can't even get a vehicle ordered through National Auto Fleet Group because everything's on back order yet. They haven't, for 3 years, we haven't been able to buy anything off our, say, cooperative purchasing, which is where we get our, you know, it saves probably 10 grand on a vehicle. So there's that problem too. So as far as timing goes, I don't know how soon the money needs to be spent, but
it needs to be spent before, for me, for sure, by November.
or we can look at, you know, a decent used pickup too. Doesn't have to be fancy. You're just looking for a work truck because most of our stuff is rotting out through the floorboards. So.
Well, why don't we table it for 2 weeks? And I'm just saying 2 weeks. If you need more time than 2 weeks, we could look at September. I mean,
Yep.
to give you the opportunity to get some different pricing on being used. Then if we go with used, okay, then is there an excavator? Is there a pickup, you know, where you can kind of
Our problem
put
is
together
space
a
too.
package?
The
of-
problem is what?
Space, shop space. So we don't like things sitting outside. So.
Well,
you
I'm
know-
not saying get a mini excavator. I just threw that out.
Oh, I thought you were talking in lieu of it first, but
No,
I didn't understand
no,
what
no.
you're.
I just threw that out there. Let's get a little more bang for our buck than a brand new tractor that's going to get
But to have
100 hours
both,
on a year.
yeah, to have both, I think
150.
one's going to be sitting for most of the year. I don't really see any. You know, for what you can do most of our stuff with a rubber tire. There's areas, yeah, you're right. You can't get in, you
I
know,
get that.
and there's areas that are too deep for even a rubber tire. You know, that I'm calling, you know, Kendall or whoever
Yep.
to dig a hole. And, you know, there's still going to be situations like that where, you know, some of our stuff's 20 foot in the ground. You're not going to get it with a rubber tire.
I understand all that stuff.
Yeah.
I ain't questioning that, but just trying to get a little more bang for our buck than having a new $130,000 loader sitting there for 100 hours or 150 hours a year. Makes it last longer, but
Yep.
Do they have used out here?
Not here. This is more of agricultural.
Yep.
We can get parts for construction equipment here. We usually have to order it, but their service and sales all have to go outside of skid loaders. You can get skid loaders here, but outside of that, you have to go to RDO or something like that. So.
Well, let's table that then.
Check it out, we might end up at the exact same spot, but.
Yep.
Okay. I will do that.
Okay.
Thanks.
You got a copy of it, right? Yep.
Yep.
All right.
All right, so that pretty much concludes this part of our meeting. We'll close this
the
and do
open and
our,
open the close.
yeah. So can we get a motion to,
I'll make a
Well, wait a
motion.
minute.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you have anything for Tom since he's not here? Does he have
I'll let him bring it next,
time?
next, yeah, in 2 weeks.
Okay. We missed you, Tom,
No,
in case he's listening.
I'll make a motion to close the regular meeting and open the closed meeting.
Fairly well.
Good to see you,
hi,
Per.
Per.
Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Start it. Stop the recording or have
You want it stopped, don't you?
Stop.
Stop it
And then she'll restart it and
and then just stop it again afterwards.
You have anything else for me? No. Okay.
no. Find some stuff. Yeah, what's up? PDA this morning? Nothing here today. It's Monday. I was thinking it was